Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Darklord deck profile. So you guys have been requesting this one like crazy because of the new Darklord Link monster, which I am super excited for. I've been waiting on this card for about a year since it got announced, and I am super excited to be able to finally play this card. She is absolutely insane in this deck. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Patreon and the Ko-Fi down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight on into this deck profile. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Darklord A Shell. Darklord A Shell is kind of like the draw power of the deck. Basically, she lets you discard herself and a Darklord card to draw 2 cards from your deck. And she also has the ability, and a lot of your Darklords have the ability, that you can, when they're on the field during either player's turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, target a Darklord spell or trap in your graveyard. And if you do, shuffle it back into the deck and then apply the effect as if it was this card's effect, which is a really cool effect that you can kind of duplicate multiple Darklord effects. Then we play 3 copies of Darklord Superbia. Darklord Superbia and A Shell kind of go together like bread and butter. What you do is with this card is when this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target 1 fairy type monster in your grave except another copy of itself and special summon that target. So what you normally do is to set up Superbia in grave, you'll discard the A Shell and Superbia together to draw 2 cards to be able to get more value out of your 2 draws, which is really cool. Then we play 2 copies of Darklord Nazton. Darklord Nazton has a really neat effect that you can discard 2 other Darklord cards to special summon this card from your hand. Now normally I don't do that, but sometimes you will end up with a hand where you'll have like 2 or 3 Darklords in your hand and you can't summon them, and so you'll discard 2 of them to the graveyard to kind of get your plays rolling, so you can start getting a bunch of monsters on field so you'll special summon Nazton. Usually I just special summon him out with other means, but there is options to be able to go that route. He also has the 1,000 life points, paying the 1,000 life points effect, and then shuffling a Darklord spell or trap into the deck to be able to activate a particular ability. He does share that ability. Then we play the boss monster of the deck as a 1-up, which is Darklord Morningstar. So the reason we play Darklord Morningstar, and this card is one of the best cards in the entire deck now. Used to be this card was a little bit bricky, but now with the Condemned Darklord, this card is insane. So this card basically breaks Morningstar. So basically what you do with these 2 is you link summon into your Condemned Darklord, and Condemned Darklord says you contribute fairy type monsters. If you guys can't see that, let me hold it a little bit closer. She has the ability that you can tribute fairy monsters that require 2 tributes by banishing monsters from your graveyard instead, and it's treated as a tribute summon. When this card is special summoned, or when it's tribute summoned, you can special summon Darklord monsters to your side of the field equal to the number of monsters your opponent controls, which is a really cool effect because you just get to overwhelm your opponent by special summoning all those different monsters onto your side of the field, which is amazing. And all of your Darklords have well over 2,000 attack points, so they get really, really powerful. Then we play a single copy of Teslapacapoca. Teslapacapoca is kind of like a hand trap that if a Darklord monster you control be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can discard him instead. So I just play him as a 1-of, kind of as extra protection. It really helps out sometimes, but I just feel like 1 is plenty. I only play a single Amadeus. Amadeus is another one of those cards that I just feel like is a good 1-of. Some people I see play this card at like 3, but I don't feel like you need it at 3. Because he lets you discard himself and a Darklord card and then target another Darklord in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. But it's any Darklord card that's in your graveyard, so it's good, but at the same time, I feel like 1 is plenty. I feel like I see it when I need to, and I don't when I don't. Then I play a single copy of Darklord Zerato. Darklord Zerato is really good in this deck because if there's exactly 4 dark monsters in your graveyard, then you can tribute him with 1 dark monster, and you can send a dark monster from your hand to the graveyard and destroy all monsters your opponent controls. And if you activate this effect, destroy him during the end phase, but usually that's not going to matter because if you special summon out like Darklord Morningstar, you normal summon him out, and then you special summon out Zerato, send a Darklord from deck to hand or deck to graveyard, you're already sitting at 58 damage on board and destroying all your opponent's monsters, which is really, really cool. So then we play just a single copy of Ukobak. I don't feel like you need more than a single copy of Ukobak. Ukobak is a good card, but you just need the Foolish Burial sometimes, and he kind of counts as another name, so I play him as a 1-of. I play 2 copies of Archlord Christia. Archlord Christia super helps out in this deck because if you have exactly 4 fairies in the graveyard, which the Condemned Darklord really helps control the amount of fairies you have in the graveyard, you can instantly special summon her from your hand, and then you can target a fairy monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand if it was summoned this way. And it also has the ability that neither player can special summon monsters, and if this card would be sent to the graveyard, you get to put it on the top of your deck instead, which is really cool because it just keeps recurring. Now, I do have a really spicy tech for you guys. A lot of you guys were saying, oh my god, what's a spicy tech this time? So this is my spicy tech, and we're going to play Guess That Card, guys. So definitely comment down below, tell me what you think of this video, or tell me what you think of this card is, and I'm going to reveal it in 3, 2, 1. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and definitely hit that bell, guys, so you can come part of the notification squad. So here we go. So that card that I'm going to be playing as a 3 of is a crazy cool tech that enables us to fusion summon. So what I'm playing is 3 copies of Predaplant Sundew. Okay, why am I playing Sundew? Why are you playing a Predaplant in here? Okay, so the reason I play that is because of Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. So this card is absolutely crazy, and if you read its materials, it just requires a Predaplant and a level 8 or higher dark monster, which literally this entire top row except Amadus and Nazton is, and we don't mind if we send one of them to the graveyard because we have Darklord Contact to bring it back. So this card is a really insane card, and this just requires you to have it on the field, and then you can activate its effect to fusion summon from your hand or field to the graveyard to summon a fusion monster. So you just send this and any of your Dark Lords to your hand, and you get a 33 level 10 beat stick, which can be used for XYZ material, or just swing with it. This card's really good too, because once per turn you get to target a monster on the field, and until the end phase, its attack becomes 0, and you negate its effects. And if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy as many monsters that were as possible on the field. Destroy as many monsters on the field as possible. Then you can banish a level 8 or higher dark monster from your grave, and then it just comes right back. This card is absolutely insane to be able to special summon off of Sundew, and it's so easy to. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. We don't play any hand traps. You don't really need them in here. So we're going to be playing just 2 copies of Valhalla. Valhalla is really good because you can just instantly special summon a fairy from hand. We play 3 copies of our Banishment of the Dark Lords, which is basically reinforcements of the army, which you just special summon your Dark Lord, or you add any Dark Lord card from your deck to your hand. We play 3 copies of Darklord Contact. This card is essentially Monster Reborn, but it special summons the Dark Lord in defense position, so that's something to keep in mind. We play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is really good in here because it just helps us with draw power. It's just so good to be able to draw all those different cards that we need. 3 copies of Trade-In because you have a lot of level 8s in this deck, so you can just discard them and then trigger, drawing 2 cards. We play 3 copies of Super Polymerization because you can also use your opponent's hot level 8 or higher monsters with your Predaplant monster on the field to be able to special summon this, or going to Starving Venom Fusion Dragon because we play both of them, which is really cool to be able to play Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon. And then we play 3 copies of Call by the Grave, which is our last 3 spells. So basically this deck is a really good draw power deck because we play 6 different, or 9 different draw power cards and 3 searchers, which is really good in this deck to be able to just draw all those cards out of the deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So we're going to be playing just 1 each of our Darklord Rebellion, Darklord Enchantment, and the Sanctified Darklord. So what each one of these do is each one requires you to send a Darklord from your field or your hand to the graveyard to trigger a different ability. Rebellion lets you target a card on the field and destroy it. Enchantment lets you take control of an opponent's monster, and the Sanctified Darklord lets you negate the effect of a monster on the field until the end phase, and if you do, you gain life points equal to that monster's attack, which is really cool. I really think that the Sanctified Darklord and Rebellion are better cards than Enchantment is, but I just feel like Enchantment really helps me with link materials to be able to get monsters out of the way so I can go in for all different sorts of plays, which is really cool. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of the Condemned Darklord. So you really only need 2 copies of her. You're never going to go into her more than twice. But she requires 2 fairy monsters. You can tribute summon, or you can tribute fairy monsters like we stated earlier. Fairy monsters that require 2 tributes by banishing 2 monsters from your graveyard instead of tributing it. And it's always treated as a tribute summon. You can discard a card to take a Darklord monster from your deck to your hand, either added to your hand or sent to the graveyard. So she not only helps you get out your Darklord Morningstar, but she also searches him as well when she's summoned, which is really cool. That's when we just play Morningstar as a one-of. And then she also, at the end phase, lets you gain 500 life points for each fairy monster on the field, which is a really, really good effect. We play a single copy of Predaplant, Verte Anaconda. You just need a single copy of Anaconda. I don't feel like I would probably play Anaconda any more than one in just about any deck at all. One copy of the Herald of Mirage Light, which is also one of the new Fairy Link monsters. This card's really good because it has the ability that when a spell, trap, or effect is activated, you can send a fairy monster in your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation if you destroy it, and if this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add 2 ritual monsters, but we don't play any rituals. We play a single copy of Borrelsword just to help us OTK our opponent, and then we play the Train Engine, which is Gustav Max, just to be able to OTK our opponent just by dealing 2,000 extra attack or life points. A single copy of number 81 because it's really big and it's unaffected by card effects when you target it. One copy of Juggernaut Levy. Juggernaut Levy is really easy to go into this deck. And a single copy of Ravenous Tarantula. Ravenous Tarantula is absolutely insane in this deck because you can actually use your copy, which I have done a lot. You can actually use a shell because a shell can only be special summoned once per turn. And your Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon to overlay both of these into this card. And once you do, it makes all the monsters on your side of the field gain life points or gain attack points equal to the difference in your life points and your opponent's life points, which is really, really big usually. Because sometimes in Darklord you'll pay like 4,000 or 5,000 life points to activate your effects. And then by the time you get there, or you'll gain a lot of life points off of your condemned Darklord, and then you'll summon this card out, and I have literally put 50,000 damage on board with Ravenous Tarantula and all my Darklords. Like, I made this one card, which starts at 1,600. I got it all the way up to like 6,000, which was crazy big. So then we play one copy for our other XYZs. We're playing just a single copy of Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy. It's the only rank 8 that I play in here now. It's the only one you really need because it negates spells. One copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Now you could change this out if you wanted to play Big Eye, but I just feel like I play the Enchanted Darklord in the main deck, so I don't want to play that here. And this card helps me get that difference between the gap for Ravenous Tarantula. You don't go into it that much because you only play 2 level 7 targets. And then we play 2 copies of Greedy Venom Fusion Dragon because this card is my super cool tech of the deck. And I really love this card in this deck because it has that ability that it just special summons itself back. It targets a card on the field, reduces its attack to 0. And then it also has the ability that you can manage to level 8 and then special summon it back. The other cool thing about this card that I forgot to mention is once per turn you can detach a material from this card and destroy all face-up monster your opponent controls with attack less than this card. And then every time your opponent special summons a monster, you inflict 600 points of damage to your opponent. This card is crazy good. And then we play a single copy of the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, so we play both of the forms in this deck as a super poly target, and then we play a single copy of Mud Dragon as well as a super poly target. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this super cool teched out Darklord deck. This is hands down one of my favorite decks of all time. I always carry this deck on me anywhere I go, because when I go to like locals or something like that, because this deck is so fun, and like people don't expect it, and some people don't even know how to play around it because they ash the first play, and it's like, well, I already did what I wanted. I got my cards in the graveyard, so it doesn't really matter. And now I'm going to activate the Condemned, or activate Contact, and then bring him back. So, really cool thing for you guys. Quick combo, because I know you guys always request combos. I'm going to show you guys a quick combo about Darklords that gets you out a Morningstar, which is really, really cool. So, basically what you're going to do is open up these 3 cards, or you can open up 2 of these cards and a Contact on your side of the field or in your hand. You can open up these 3 or a combination of this or a combination of this, just any of these cards, or 1 or 2 of these in this. But we're going to say for, combo's sake that this is what we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by discarding these 2 cards, which is going to let us draw 2 more cards. It doesn't even matter what they are in this deck. Then we're going to activate our Contact, bringing back our Superbia. Superbia is then going to special summon our Ishel, and then this is going to go to graveyard. Now, at this point, you could activate the Ishel if you had other Dark Lords in the graveyard, but it doesn't really matter because all we're going to do is send these two to the graveyard to link summon into our Condemned Dark Lord. Now that we have the Condemned Dark Lord on the field and we have 2 cards in hand and 2 in the graveyard, you can activate her effect to take a Dark Lord from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. We're then going to add from our deck to our hand our copy of Morningstar. Once you add the Morningstar to hand, you banish from your graveyard your 2 copies of Ishel and Superbia, special summon your copy, or tribute summon your copy of Morningstar. Morningstar then triggers, doesn't even matter what these cards in your hand are, and then special summons out a whole bunch of Dark Lords from your deck, which could be like, let's say your opponent has 4 monsters on field, you summon Tez, you summon Nazten, you summon Zerato, and you can't summon out your copy of Ishel because you already special summoned her once per turn, but you summon Amadis onto your side of the field, which is really cool, and then you can still use them as link material, or just attack your opponent and OTK them, or send a card from your hand, which if you had a dark monster in hand, you could just send it to graveyard with this card and then pop your opponent's cards, which is really cool. So that was the quick combo of how to OTK in this deck, just to show you guys how to get the Condemned Dark Lord out on your side of the field as quickly as possible. I figured you guys would enjoy that. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell and there so you can become part of the notification squad. Definitely check out the Ko-Fi and the Patreon down in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.